Welcome back, everybody. I'm Chisco Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the makers of Whiteout Survival, we're going to push all the way to FC8. We're going to go get our FC8 troops, which is freaking hype. They are super powerful. They have a new ability, and maybe we get to push a little bit more. If you're subscribed to the channel, you know that in the last big push, I went to FC7 on everything. And although FC7... I say everything, on all my troops. And although that's nice, that's really the wrong goal. The right goal is to, in your first SvS with refined fire crystals, to get all the way up to FC level 8 on just one troop type. Because an FC8 troop, with the extra abilities here, that does work. That does serious work. FC7s were cute. They were nice. But in a world in which you're fighting for the castle, you need the best of the best. You do. So you got to have the FC8. Better to have one FC8 or one troop type than FC7 on 3 troop types. My opinion. Okay, so with all that said, today we're going to actually do the push to FC8. I have what I need. And if you're not yet at this point with refined fire crystals, let me just take a moment to show you how this works, okay? Now, I made a dedicated video about refined fire crystals, and again, if you're subscribed to the channel, which I hope you'll do, you already know that there's multiple plans, multiple game plans in my Discord server, linked down below, and in that video, that help you get to your desired end state, whatever that may be, whether it's, you know, a day 1 unlock of one FC8 troop, or one FC7 troop, or however far you're going to be able to get. Now, I've got my refinements up for the day, but every week you get a reset on this right over here, super refinements. And the more super refinements you do, the higher the cost of fire crystals and the more refined fire crystals you ultimately get. Refined fire crystals are what you need to get to FC6, FC7, FC8, and so on. So let's do our super refines here. Now you can see the first one is always discounted every single day. So the goal is to get to the next tier of cost for doing the super refinements. Now someone sent a weird message and they said, Chisco, why are you doing this one at a time? Your odds are better if you super refine XN. And I was like, where in the odds? Do they disclose legally that that's the case? Like, they have an obligation to do that. Odds, it's a thing that has to get disclosed in games like this, right? Like, I think that's another superstition. Like, another one of those superstitions is opening hero gear chests. People have this belief that if you open them in small increments, it's better. I mean, I don't know, unless someone's actually gone and mathematically, statistically, you know, significantly proven it. I'm not believing it. Anyways, who knows? Who knows? There's all kinds of beliefs out there, and that's part of why hopefully you'll subscribe to the channel here. I like to bust up some of the myths when I can, and like some of the things people believe are true. So whatever. So now we've reached a point where you can see the cost has gone way up, but also the range of the rewards has improved, and you can see the details of that kind of over here. That we do have a higher chance of getting more fire crystals now, but the sort of total cost is, I think, higher. You spend more fire crystals per refined fire crystal. I still need more, so we're going to keep going. All right, here we go. I need, I think, in the realm of like 300 total, and I'm going to have an excess of that here. Now, the reason you want to stop at these 20x demarcations, either 20 or 40, 60 or 80, is that over the course of the week, again, every day you get a 50% off pull, and you want that 50% off pull to be at the higher tier of refined fire crystals, because at that point you're like actually kind of getting a bargain, kind of. I don't know. Ooh, X3 a bunch of times in a row. Let's go. All right, and so now you can see we for sure, assuming 300 was the number I actually needed for RFC. We are now chilling, okay? We are well into the range. So boom, you can see the cost went up to 100, okay? and the reward tier is now larger as well. But over the course of the week, I'm going to pay 50 a pop in my pulls for the next 6 days because they're going to be 50% off, which is what I was just paying for the lower return of 2 to 3 per, right? So that's why you want to get to the next tier and then every day pull at that higher tier at the 50% discount. So we got how far we got. Now we're the vice president. We have the building buff. We've got everything we need here. And you may be like, Chiskel, why aren't you rushing? Go, build, 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 build. Here's the thing, okay? If you're subscribed to the channel, you know that I'm going to pop the pet buff. You know I'm going to pop the chief order. Those last for 5 minutes. So I've got a 30-minute window with title. It's a 5-minute window in which I'm going to get everything done. And the statewide buff is now active as well, all right? So I'm going to speed up the buildings I had just kind of running overnight. Just getting some free sort of building speeds, if you will, out of the deal by virtue of just kind of like slow building stuff, all right? So those were slow building, okay? Now, I'll show you how we're doing in prep here. We'll do the before and the after. And this is the first prep in which we're challenged. And this is the first prep in a very long time in which we've been challenged. And why is that? So our state unlocked RFC apparently 2 weeks before this other state that we're fighting did. Now, they're doing an amazing job. That's not to discredit them in any way. They're beating us right now in prep. But it's interesting that they're getting the ability to go, I guess, to FC8 for the very first time. Whereas we had it in our last SvS. So they're pushing a lot of points, understandably, in phase 1, which is construction. So, you know, how this plays out for the rest of prep. Also, like, this is a KOR state, which means, you know, if they are actually based more in Korea, that, like, their online time is now, and toward reset, you know, it's going to be like their sleep time, whereas, like, hey, we just are waking up for the day, and Europe is just getting their first crack at this. So, like, who knows, right? Who knows? I'm not trying to make excuses or whatever. I don't want anybody to get it confused. But there's lots of reasons why the score could be one way or another. Realities will sort themselves out soon enough, right? And that's the beauty of this game and this genre of game is, like, you can have your beliefs, but the truth will shine through soon enough. So we'll see. We'll see if we as a state have what we need. I think it's very interesting, you know, like a state entering for the first time to FC8 versus us already having it for, you know, we had it a 2-week window to get our RFC for, you know, the upgrade pathway in our last prep. But anyways, enough rambling. Here's the game plan. We're going to go in. We speed this up. We speed this up. We speed this up. So all I think I need is to finish the furnace. And I'm not going to wait for helps. We're going to slam the upgrades. We're going to push. All right? Yeah, hey, go, Chiskel. Okay. I'm going to go. Here, I'll let him know. Here we go. We gotta drop an emoji. Boom. All right. The emoji's in. All right. So we pop the buffs. I shouldn't have any requirements beyond just get the furnace to 8 and then get the camps to 8. Okay? But it's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, and again, I'm not waiting for helps. We're just boom, 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 boom. I don't know what the upgrade time is going to be. Yeah, a day. You know, even if I wasn't going to get these done with the buff active, like, getting helps does a lot. We'll see. We'll see how much the helps. But, like, you know, you could save like 4-ish hours per upgrade. So, like, how valuable it is to rush those with the VP buff. There's a debate that could be made here that, like, actually you'd be better off doing it outside of the VP buff and getting helps. But whatever. We're just going to do it. All right. So FC8 and troops inbound. We're going to do this fast. We're going to do this furious. I have everything else that I could possibly have. I'll mention this, even though I mentioned it in my prior videos, that like this is a really important upgrade on your expert right here. 8 hours on each new build, kind of a big deal. So Agnes is a big time saver. Yeah, I think it's time. Here we go. Double time. Active. Pet. Active. 5 minutes of heaven. We're there, and look, it's only 6 days now. That's crazy. Okay, don't show this again today. Upgrade. Speed up. Yeah, I'm only getting like 4 helps. Like nobody's online right now. I told you this is our sleep time. Speed it up. And boom. Speed it up. FC8 is in. Now we do the camps. They're down to 17 hours. That's crazy. All right. Speed it up. Upgrade. Speed it up. Upgrade. Speed it up. And we're just cruising right now. I'm going back and forth between the two because theoretically a few helps could roll in, but again, it's early for me. I'm East Coast USA, so it's 8 a.m. our time, which means like, you know, West Coast, they're not even awake. Nobody's thinking about smashing the help button or even being online to auto smash the help button. All right, boom. We're at 8. Love to see it. Boom. We're at 8. And we finish this off and we're good to go. I mean, I think what's interesting is like, I can see why you don't need to have the buff to do this push. Because like, what's more important is that you have your 5 minutes of things running more than the state title, right? The state title is kind of the cherry on top. All right, now I should do a couple other things just to get them lined up. Command center is huge. That's deploy cap, but this is one where I should just wait for helps. And the infirmary is a decent choice. I have 49 of these things left. I'm fine with the infirmary. And cool, I think we're chilling. FC8 troops. Oh my god. And we did it. And we got time to spare. And I have a lot more resources to spare than I thought I would. Which is fine. How are we looking? Yeah, I mean, it ran me about 1 billion. Billion food, 1 billion wood, and I don't know how much of the other two. But anyways, we did it. I suppose if you went back, you could watch it happen, but we're now up to 582 million power. How much power did I just gain? I really just gained like a pretty decent little power number there. But yeah, I'm telling you, it is a big boost to get these extra abilities. Not to mention the fact that you can tap in and you can see like, oh, right, like, the base stats are higher. The multipliers of all those percentages are on the base stats, and like, yeah, man, it goes a really long way. So now we can go back in and we can look at our prep, and I should have looked at my individual score. I think it was around like 9.5 or 10 million just on charms. But we got a long way to go. Let's see here, my personal point ranking. Yeah, I mean, I gained about 14 million points probably on the board from that. Decent. But that's not enough to make up the gap. So all day long, we need people to push. Now, here's the total scores. KOR, they're doing an amazing job. A lot of respect. Look at that. 671 million. We're at almost 500 million. And they have another alliance right up there, 311. And then we have our alliances. Close on the heels is RTZ. Then we have Bro. Then we have SNV. But they've got alliances too. They got Highlanders. Then we got Starry. Then they got Republic of Korea, Real Korean, the Asylum. And now we're like, it's farms, but you know, these farms are adding up a meaningful amount of points. So we're behind in the prep so far. And nothing but respect to our opponent for putting up an incredible prep so far. So we'll see how things shape up over the course of the day. I am still pretty optimistic for this prep, but a lot can happen, and we need to get back into the leader spot if we're going to win this prep. So we'll see. Enjoy the vid, throw a like on here, subscribe. You got any other thoughts or comments about the process of unlocking this new tier of troop? Definitely let me know down below in the comments, and the cards in the end screen. I'll have 2 videos for you. One is going to be when I push to FC7. The other is going to be my overall guide for refined fire crystals and how to think about it. So that I think is going to be really helpful for folks. Give you the information you need. All right? Dang. Gobble, gobble, they say in Alliance chat. Gobble, gobble. All right, until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.